What's up, everybody? I tried to hold it out a little bit because it's going to be a minute for anybody who gets on here live with us. But this is Warp Charge Gaming, and we're live. I am here with Chris and James.
Yo,
James,
yo.
yeah, James out there on his phone. He's in a dark area right now, joining because he's taking that fun seriously. So you're going to see Chris and I on screen here, but we're hanging out with James too. And it's good to have you, James. Good to have you, Chris.
Hello.
It's episode 117. So we've done this a bunch of times in a row, and we do it every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We talk about tabletop wargaming, particularly Games Workshop, Warhammer 40K. It's in its 9th edition now. It's a grand old time. 2020 has been a wild year for tabletop wargaming, we haven't got to see the rinse repeat that we're so used to. The structure has been in its upheaval. What's up, Mike McKee? I see the sup fellas out there. I got my chat open. I feel ready.
What up?
You guys, like you and James don't hear it, but I got like this cafe, like synthy music in the background, kind of making me feel chill. I like that too.
Nice.
The smooth vibes. But yeah, so it's been another week, and on this channel, on this episode, we typically like to talk about what's been going down in Warp Charge Gaming, and then stuff that's going around in the general world at large with tabletop wargaming. And what has been happening that I'd like to just give some brief news before we get into anything else is just I'm talking like people don't know, because I like to pretend, guys, that new people watch the show for the first time, right? You got to kind of prime them a little, right? I sort of got up talking on this cheesy piano on my headphone. Anyways, we're partnered with Battlegrounds, the greatest game store on earth here in the Midlothian, Richmond, Virginia area, and literally the Warp Charge Gaming Studio. Currently, I'm in my house, Chris is at his house, and James is out in the world at large, outside. He's like on his phone somewhere in nature. We're all in different places, and we're here virtually with you. But the usual place that we're filming battle reports, that's something we do. We don't just talk about them. And we host events, a lot of them. They all go down to Battlegrounds with our partner, the glorious game store that is. And we've been running a interesting thing in these current times where we have a social distancing tournament, like organized play system. And it's been working great. And I feel like I should continue to try to share the system because, dude, it's been so great. And maybe it'll help other organizers get a chance to play games with their friends again.
Please, God.
Because it's been awesome, man. So all it is that we stole this and kind of modified it from Tactical Tortoise, a new content creator that came more relevant to me as people quarantined and whatnot, and Tabletop Simulator blew up over this year. I've liked watching your Space Wolves list. Has grown from Tabletop Sim to live tabletop. It's been great. Thanks, Mike. Mike's been watching all the way from the TTS. I literally, Saga of the Beast came out for the Space Wolves during, like March area. I don't even remember exactly. I see your amble there. And we did a lot of games that Chris and I and James tried to play, but damn computer. But we played a lot of Tabletop Simulator before the store opened back up in July. When the store did open back up, mask required and all that stuff, we had to figure out a way to like get some organized play happening without having everybody come in one place at the same time. So yeah, you like that? We used the pod system. We made it so that every time 8 people sign up to a pre-registered link from Best Coast Pairing, a pod would fire. And it's single elimination. So the moment you lose, you're out. So round 1, round 2, round 3, there'd be only one single unique winner. And we said that once there was 8 unique winners, then we would have an invitational to the finals where each of the unique winners would then go. Well, it's exciting times right now. And I want to narrate the fact that this upcoming weekend and going into Monday is going to be the close of our first tournament series where we're going to have 8 unique winners. We're going to go to the finals. And I have like 2 chances left to get there. I've joined, ashamedly, I've joined 13 out of 15 pods, okay? And so I've tried 13 times to make it to the finals. And I've made it to round 3, like 2 or 3 or 4 times even. But right now I have 2 more chances, and it's interesting because if you we're looking for unique winners, and if somebody wins multiple times, multiple pods, they're basically growing the prize pool for the finalist pot, and they're edging out people Because if we get to the end of a 3-month period and we have no 8 unique finalists, then we just split the pot amongst the winners based on percentage of wins. So they're like fighting to beat people out of a ladder match. And also every time they win with a different faction, it gives them that faction's keywords as an ability to make different lists in the finals. You can make a whole new list in the finals, but only using the faction keywords that you want to pod with. So that's all this interesting dynamic, right? Well, we've had people win multiple times. So literally all the way out to pod 13 is relevant for the first season.
That's crazy that it's actually taken that many. I would have expected a much more decisive, narrow.
It could have been there's 8 unique winners and 8 unique pods. If you take 8 times 15, whatever that number is, it's over 100. It takes that many participants to be able to have 15 pods. Well, I added up the amount of how many times each person has played, and there's only been 30 unique players to play 15 pods, because you can be in more than one pod at once with different armies. So there have been some really dedicated people. Me, Mike, Hagen, we've all done 13 games. I see Chicken Bone out there. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Chicken Bone.
What up, Chicken Bone? Catching us on the typo game.
Yep, I got the wrong. I got the Thursday thumbnail up. My bad. I like to keep it fresh. But yo, it's crazy. So there's only one pod left below pod 13. That's pod 7. And then pod 13. In pod 7, it's my demons versus Dan's orcs. And Dan's already made it to the finals. So if Dan beats me in pod 7, then pod 13 becomes relevant. And in pod 13 is me and Hagen versus each other. And I think he's Death Guard versus Space Wolves. He's worried about that match. But I have to lose my match pod 7 for pod 13 to be relevant, and then I will have yet one more chance, and if I beat Hagen, then I can get into season 1. Well, on Saturday, I believe, Saturday or Sunday, I'm playing Hagen, which will be the pod 13 match. So we're going to see what's going to happen before it does, and then on Monday, I'll fight the Orcs for the last match of season 1, and we'll be going to the final. So that's exciting. It's crazy. There's a lot of if this happened, if that happened, up until even this moment, to get all the way into pod 13, counting for the first round. It's been crazy. I've been loving it. Oh, you know what? I had some visual aids. I'd like to just show you guys how crazy it is. Look at this. This is the, I can show, I have the spreadsheet, right? Look at all these people playing one another. It's a beautiful thing. So I've kept track of it all manually this way, and I've tried to, as I've matched people in their first rounds, I've tried to make sure that they try not to play the same duplicate people as much as possible. But you can see Austin, I think Austin's won 5 times, something like that. Sean's won multiple times. Dan's won and might win again. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Casey was wrecking people with his knights, and he made it to the finals twice against Austin. Austin took him down both times. Austin's actually undefeated. He actually, due to scheduling issues, the only time it shows a loss for him was due to a forfeit. So he is not lost. And his matchup, and we could just talk a little bit about his list because it's been crazy, man. It has an interesting dynamic to it. And what it is, let me get back to the camera, is that his obliterators, man, are what are literally tabling people, and he's doing it in an interesting way where usually the most common thread is people are using Alpha Legion obliterators because it has the conceal strat. Spend 2 CP, can't target this unit unless it's the closest. Well, what Austin's been doing is he's playing Black Legion with Abaddon, giving reroll everythings, and then he's using a lot of the similar buffs that we'll talk about in a second, but particularly he's using the Iron Warrior capability to be able to, I said Black Legion, but he has Iron Warrior a Blitz, I believe, because there's an Iron Warrior strat that lets you reroll all variable profiles. Nice. And every profile on a obliterator is variable. At strength 6 plus D3, D3 AP, D3 damage.
Strength AP damage, yeah.
Yeah, and so what he'll do, because these things they can shoot twice, being Slanesh keyword, is he'll make him a 2-up with prescience, and then he'll do Infernal Power for reroll hits and wounds of 1. But particularly the way that he makes them untargetable, because they're Black Legion, is he uses a cultist stratagem that Black Legion has, or not Black Legion. Iron Warriors, and he makes it so that you can't target the Obliterators, and he makes it so that the cultists have to be shot and killed before you're able to target the Obliterators. So instead of just like you can't target these, like the conceal strat from Alpha Legion, it's you can't target these unless the cultists go away. But then what he does to see, okay, 30 cultists, no big deal, whatever, he brings the Noctilith crown, which is strange. and so,
awesome.
So he gives them all 5-up invulns, and the Noctilith crown gives reroll powers. So he's rerolling all his powers, which he's making these things buffed up to hell. And then he uses, because the cultists are the different chaos gods, he uses trees, Weaver of Fates, which is the +1 invulnerability. And he casts.
Oh, gross! They're 4 up.
Yeah, so he puts 4-up invulns, and then he has another way to give them a 5-up Feel No Pain. So it's basically 4-up invuln, 5-up Feel No Pain, 30 cultists that don't suffer leadership or just auto pass or whatever. But 1 or 2 turns, you not being able to shoot the Blitz, and you wasting your firepower, because what also he has is 3 Defilers as well. so here's...
My God, just stunting on people with the Defilers, too.
Here's 3 Defilers. Here's these Blitz you can't target until you kill the Noctilith Crowned Cultists, where at the same time you're getting, these crazy... It has all these invuln buffs, and the Blitz are just ridiculous. They always get the profile they want, and they smack whatever they want to hit very hard. And it turns out that picks up people pretty hard.
I'm just curious, are there any demons in the list? And I don't mean like demon keyword, I mean like actual demons. The only reason I ask is because I know that Black Legion has that crazy stratagem where they can basically take away somebody else's obsec if you have like demons on an objective or something. It's something weird.
Oh yeah, where he can just make his army obsec. Yeah, I know what you're... Yeah, he has that capability if I recall what he was telling me, but I do not... remember many demons. I'm going to go to... I think I can probably pull up one of his lists here.
It's a really funky one. Like, you have to have, like, demons in range of a Black Legion unit, and, like, you turn off someone else's obsec and, like, you keep it or something. I don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah, there's some shenanigans in there that he's got going on.
Especially since scoring is such a big deal in this edition.
Dude, he was just loaded with tricks. Okay, I pulled up his list here. Let me go back to the camera. All right, so Black Legion, Abaddon, 2 Sorcerers. One's a Terminator armor. They're Marcus Lanesh. He's got his warp time ready to go. He's got -1 to hit. So he's got a Nurgle. He's got all these different marks to do the different things he might want to do, right? So like with his Marcus Lanesh, he can give Delightful Agonies from that sorcerer. With his sorcerer that's Nurgle, he gets his Miasma of Pestilence. So he's talking about Feel No Pain and -1 to hit. He's got the 3 Defilers being gross, and then we get into the Iron Warriors, where we have and this is with the odd part that he thinks. I think he's about to play. There's about to be a small GT or tournament in Fredericksburg area. I think at My Hobby Shop this upcoming weekend, and so there's going to be some crowd. We have a lot of people that are high up in the ITC in our East Coast area here that will be going to this event because there's very few events. But he had double Mutilators, which was more just funny and like a distraction. They're distraction Carnifexes. They do a great job of just being bullies, and they kind of behave like the Defilers. But he's going to be swapping those out for just more Obliterators as he goes into the competitive event. But literally, these 3 Obliterators are what rock everything, and it's just the fact that he's using these Iron Warrior strat. So it's basically a Black Legion detachment, a Noctilith Crown, and a freaking Iron Warrior detachment. And it's pretty funny. It's hard to beat, and it's pretty much been undefeated in that bit crazy pod thing that you've seen. But while there's been over like 100 participants, it still is only about 30 unique players. And we'll see if he takes it all in the finals as we move into that coming to a wrap-up finals. It's been a big milestone. It's been a lot of fun. And what's been wild is at the same time of launching, or this kind of all coming to its head, we just launched on the 29th of this past weekend, basically, the Crusade, where Warped Charge Gaming is doing his first like narrative event, And I've been talking. I keep like narrative is like it doesn't roll off my tongue because it's not something I usually do, and I've been having these thoughts about competitive narrative and what those words mean to different people, and they mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And people ask, do you think this is competitive all the time? And what does that mean to them? And funny enough, Chris, this would be a good way just to start talking about some stuff. But my buddy Tyler was hitting me up, and before we got on, he was asking me, "Do you think servitors would be good for a screen, or not even a screen? But do you think servitors would be good to do because they're super cheap, like 28 points for a 4-man unit, and just putting those in your army to be able to do the action-based objectives? Talking about they can go in a drop pod and how you can do behind enemy lines."
I see a lot of people talking about the new Necron things, little scythe arm things, for basically the exact same reason, because they're cheap.
Yep.
They can do actions.
Yep. And we started discussing, well, what if there's mortars? I personally like to go for killing-oriented ones and positionals, and I usually just hope that their army isn't sub-optimized for the choices that I want to play, how I want to play my army, because I don't take anything that really can stand back and do actions. So I'm not really playing the action game, and I think that kind of lack of versatility, it would hurt me in a all-comers GT, in my overall performance. And so I was like, hey, I don't say you're wrong. I'm just saying all offense at 28 points is like Thunderhammers I don't get, or whatever, Yeah,
I mean, it's not a play style that you're like keeping in mind when you're designing your list, so it's difficult to explicitly. I don't know, like. Talking to Connor, for example, he's always been so much more nuanced in like micro movement tricks. Like when he brings up certain points to me, I'm like, I don't know anything about that, man. Like,
yeah, it's not how I do it. Yeah,
I may not be the best perspective for that.
so then that got me thinking is that it's really about your particular personalized meta. One, your collection. I build around my collection, and I don't really think very expansively. Somebody who's okay with like growing their collection may be thinking more wide-eyed.
Hey, so I can
tell you.
I just played a game of 8th last weekend, or 9th. We're in 9th edition, right?
Yeah.
And I found that picking my missions was a little difficult because I wanted all killing. I wanted no endgame.
Yep.
So I was just like, what am I doing? How do I pick an endgame one? Like, how do I pick this other thing? Because I just want all the aggressive ones are just so nice. So nice. Where it's like, man, I could pick a handful of those with a combat army, but it's like the other ones are just so hard for me.
Oh, a badass thing is whenever it's assassins plus abhor the witch. If they bring a bunch of psychers plus characters, it's a gold mine because you kill characters and their psychers, you get double score.
Gross.
And it's 5 points a kill on a psyker. So you just kill 3 psychers, you get 15 points. Also, that's 9 on
so
assassins.
Many Tyranid characters.
Yeah, there's certain armies that's just huge again. So I'm just like banking on those kind of moments. But when it came to, to talk about what's competitive, I was like, I don't think the servitors are the answer. What if they have mortars? What if this? But, for the particular, he was talking about the people that he usually plays against. They're very elite, and he can't usually do like the kill more, the grind them down. They'll actually have less models than he will usually. And, it's based on the army you field on whether taking kill more is even an option, or maybe you're going to go domination. But then it also matters on like how much terrain does your meta use? Do they do preset terrain? Is there a lot of combat players? There's all kinds of factors that dictate what's good.
I can't weigh in on the servitors, but I'm a little bit try-hard. A little bit. I can tell you up front, and to all our listeners, I just ordered like 9 Obliterators, 12 Hive Guard, and 2 Exocrines. So I'm all about some killing power.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to really just go all in. I found that... Well, I was also mentioning for my own personal play style, like one tournament play and or playing on stream. I like redundancy and a lot more mindlessness. I like point and click style strategy. So, if you don't want to think too, like at a tournament, especially a 3-day event like say Nova, rest in peace 2020, like you might have to play like 8 fucking games, like 3 games one day, 3 games the next day, or God forbid, Adepticon's 4 games in a day. So you need to be able to be ready to like have the attrition. Like maybe you partied hard the night before. Maybe you're fucking like really hungry and need to get some food. Like there's all these human elements that by playing a list that's pretty plug and play and has a lot of redundancy, I'm just like, do I roll 3 of Invulns? Great. I'm looking to advance. I'm looking to charge. I'm looking to make saves. You know what I mean? And swing some hammers. And by having like fight when you die with Woofin, that's a forgiving element where, oh shit, I fucked up, you making me fight last, or you countercharged me, I didn't kill everything I need. Well, cool, I still fight when I die. It's a mechanic that protects you from messing up.
Absolutely, especially since what we've seen traditionally, especially in 8th, but ninth as well, like combat's been so hard to get into. Like that's part of the reason why 40k versus Sigmar is favored shooting so heavily, because like you're guaranteed some return on your investment, because like you're gonna get to do your thing. So like that's part of why Wolfen are like such a redonkulous backbone for Space Wolves list, because as long as you make it to combat, you're going to get to do what you're supposed to do.
That feels great. It's such a good Morty defense. Like when people love to do the Magnus Morty and just run Morty right up in your face and sling you, you can just take a unit of 5 Wolfen and potentially take Morty down.
Yeah,
dying while you go, but hey, it's done. The job is done. Yeah. So speaking of narrative, competitive, like, so we've been doing the Crusade, man, and it's been wild. These 25 power level, 50 power level games, I've been having a blast, and we've been running a shit ton of games, playing a lot of different people, and it's been wild. And I'm like addicted to XP now. Like I just want to get that next. I want that next battle trait. I want that next relic. Like I want that next ability, and it's just crazy how super powered you can make your dudes be. But what's funny, dude, is like you just mentioned it yourself. Like it's really hard to turn off the power gamer in us.
Damn right.
And like there's been
gotta face that dragon.
I've been facing some people didn't get to practice as much as I did. For instance, like when I played leading up to the Crusade, I played 10 games about, and every time I played until like the last, literally every time I changed my list. Every time I played it, and I was like, "Oh, I got the sauce now." And we'd be sitting there bullshitting like amongst the people in the store and be like, "Oh, I'll bring this, I'll bring that." Be like, "All right, let's try it, dude." And then, oh shit, now I got smacked, and it just kept happening. And I thought the 3 Bloodthirsters I thought would be gold. I was like, "Oh, surely this is gonna rock." But 3 Bloodthirsters just kept dying. Even with all taking 8 wounds max per phase, I lost every game. I was trying with like 4 games in a row. So finally, I went to multiple Greater Demons, Keeper of Secrets, Lord of Change, and a Bloodthirster with a Demon Prince without wings and a 2 units Nurgling. And it started smacking, dude. That 3-up Invuln Super Chicken, and it being able to take the Forbidden Gem on the Keeper.
The Exalted Keeper, probably.
Yeah, -1 to wound from shooting.
So good.
I mean, you just basically you tap into all these new resources. You got psychic powers, and the funnest thing, dude, is on the Super Chicken, you take Treason of Tzeentch to try to take over people's characters, which is hilarious on the Crusade map. So, anyways, that got really powerful quick, and people were hadn't practiced yet. They played my list, and were like, "Oh, this game's stupid, I quit," pretty much. And I'm like, damn it, I'm supposed to be helping people like get into 9th edition, have fun.
F that.
Yeah.
Destroy them.
I'm like, "Hey everybody, like I don't get prize support, just trying to have fun like everybody else, not trying to power game. I didn't mean to make this unstoppable horde." And so I tried to make another list. I tried to make a Space Wolf list, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is even better than my Demons list, I swear." I hadn't even got to play it yet. Well, I have now, but I thought mentally that, because the biggest problem was the Super Chicken. He has a 3-up Invuln. And the gross thing that he has, his Exalted trait, is the Aura of Mutability. And it's a 6+ Feel No Pain, but it's a heal no pain. Every time you make a 6-up Feel No Pain, you heal a wound on top of that. So
I got you.
So if you were to say do 1 wound and I roll a 6, I not only stop the wound, but I heal 1 on top of that. So I can actually gain wounds.
I mean, I can tell you, like, talking to the ridiculousness, I was talking to Heretic Hornet earlier today, and he's been playing a lot of Crusade as well. And I actually had to point out to him something that he was not aware of, because something I don't think one of his opponents is aware of either. They've been playing Crusade, and he's been doing a flawless host Slaanesh Demon Prince.
Oh, no specialist. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do that anymore. Yeah, and I pointed that out. I was like, oh, he was like that caught him off guard. He was like, wait, you can't do that anymore? I was like, nope.
Yeah.
That would be disgusting.
Oh, no doubt.
Real quick.
It was funny because my first instinct, I was like, "Oh, nobody likes these Greater Demon lists. Well, fine, I'll just play 3 Lord Discordants." And I was like, "Oh, damn it, it's literally the same thing." What I was wanting to show, I got an image of, is I actually made 3 armies now. So in the Crusade, people can play me any of my 3 armies, and I just wave my hand and say, pick your poison," kind of thing. It's super fun, and it's been hilarious because I tried to make a Demons list that was really just wet noodly by using Nurgle. Check this out. The whole thing was based around bringing the Gellerpox. And it's so cool to bring the Gellerpox Infected to a 40k game. And they're actually amazing value for the power level. Even though you see 5 toads in there, I was running those as Beast and Nurgle. I ended up turning this, and I'm really stoked on this, I ended up turning that into a 9-man squad of Nurgling. Which a 9-man squad of Nurgling using the Demon Infestation, or the Nurgling Infestation strat from the new Psychic Engine War. It lets us do, on a 5+, any bodies we lose at the end of the phase come back. So, like, if somebody kills, like, 5 or 6 Nurgling, and then I roll dice, like, 4 or 5 ups, I get 5, those 4 bodies back. It's gross. I thought the specialists were locked out of match play only. Nah, if you look at the reinforcements, it's the specialist, I forget how they call it. It's one of the requisition points that you spend, and it says that you can't buy specialist attachments, actually. They're basically, specialist attachments are dead. And in our Crusade, to put more sanity to the game, we actually play match play Crusade. We only do power level and Crusade missions and structure, but we still do match play everything else. And I've had to make a few different calls to keep the game sane. I could show you a few, but I'll show you this picture real quick. 3 different Crusade lists there on the table.
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Just I have to say this: power levels for nerds.
Yo, what's fun about the Gellerpox is 23 models, and for 14 power level, you can bring all of them. And literally, like a 4-man squad is just 1 power level. So it's very few things in the game that have like power level 2, especially power level 1. And in the Crusade system, you have a roster system. So when you hit the table and see the mission and the opponent, you pull from your roster to bring your list, a legal list, to that game. And so by having the micro numbers of power level 1s and 2s, I'm able to kind of manipulate what kind of Nurgle force I bring to the table. So that's been cool. But it's literally been the Exalted Great Unclean one, I'm using Rodicus as the model, and his Demon Prince friend are such a power couple, dude. The Demon Prince has a Warlord trait that gives -1 to hit within 7 inches. The Exalted trait on the Great Unclean one is a 4-up, Feel No Pain. And because of his battle trait Regenerate, and the relic that he takes to regenerate, he regenerates 2 wounds a turn, and then he can strat heal D3 and psychic power heal D3. So he's just a beefy, busty dude, and he does some work. He has +1 to wound as one of his abilities as well. So he's just usually wounded on 2s, doing D6 damage and not dying, and it's pretty awesome. But it's funny though, because it was meant to be a slappy little list, and it's actually been super tanky, dude. I've just been making these walls and just like sticking it like 300, and then smacking people down with the Demon Prince and Great and Queen one. And then the Space Wolf list, dude, four guys. We got 3 Wolf Lords and 1 Wolfguard Battle Leader with Thunderhammer Storm Shield riding Thunder Wolves. And then just because narrative, I'm bringing 25 Fenrisian Wolves, 1 squad of Wolfen, and 1 squad of Grey Hunters. And I've been having a blast with that because each of the Wolf Lords on Thundercav have a saga that they can achieve. They each have a Warlord trait. And now, when each of them achieve the saga, it goes off. So I'm getting, my Warlord traits turning into auras as I play each game. And I've had a game where like all 4 auras go off at the same time. It's pretty awesome. So that's all been great fun. And I love to ask people what they want to play, and it's slowing me down a little bit. The stupid demon list got to like Crusade level 35. I gained like a stupid amount of XP because it's all about who you play. Like I played 6 Armiger Knights, and I was just raking in XP because of the way you could pick agendas to kill knights. It's been a lot of fun.
I love seeing the Gellerpox. Actually, they're a set of models I'm gonna need to pick up at some point because, especially with Blackstone Fortress being like limited run, I'm already kind of looking to ways to how to expand the game. And like I feel like those models fit in so well to that style of game.
You're totally
I may
right.
have to do something in terms of like buying a boxer like that and writing up my own like expansion campaign for the game eventually.
Sure, I absolutely love them. I totally feel you on that. What's also been interesting is there's been a little bit of a resurgence of Blood Bowl going on at the store, and we were talking about how they have some great poses for some Nurgle Ogres and to be used as a Blood Bowl team. So I've been considering that. But what also I'm excited about and might be bringing these guys to the table down the road is Necromunda. And people have been trying to get me to play Necromunda for a long time, Chris. I know you're enthusiastic about it.
So I haven't played, but so I've almost across the board, and perhaps this is something that you can appreciate because you're so gung-ho about Infinity, but time and time again, I've heard Necromunda is kind of like the better version of 40K. Like, it's still in the same wheelhouse, but it has so much of like the little micro things and details and crazy moments because of different ways mechanics work. In this still same grimdark feeling kind of setting. I mean, dude, I'm sure you've seen the Corpse Grinder cult models.
Yeah,
those things are gorgeous.
It's cool how like you can get a little bit more like down to a relatable level, because you're not talking about the godliness of like a space marine. You're down in the ghetto, the grunts, the 99%. You know, you're hanging out with your good old boys in your gang, whether that be in the fucking factory, or maybe you're part of the scientists, maybe you're the spies. You know, I was looking at the different boxes and whatnot. But what was cool is like you're mentioning, is like you really get to experience the power of like a melt-a-gun is rare to come by.
Or like Escher Gang, for example, like they have some hella poison weapons. That's not the most common thing. Like you really get, I feel like, flavors of the way the different armies play.
Yeah, and the what was interesting is apparently everything that's available for a unit to take, like the idea is that it's very much a game that you hobby as you go and as you campaign. And so they've made it so you can like, you know, really build a character around it, like physically with the modeling and the weapons they give you in the kits and stuff to make this specialized character that you've bought. And I guess like my buddy was telling me, unlike Kill Team, like you have a little bit more like you have more built-in interest with your model living inside of a Necromunda game. It's not just like I play a game, they won, they lived or died. It's like you have a more
it's almost got a crusade element to it, almost, if you will. So like you want to invest, you want that XP, you want to evolve your gang. And I mean, especially now they have a new set of models coming out. Escher Gang just got a beautiful new set of models. There's also like the new like Ogren-y kind of models.
I think they're about to get a whole apparently it's not that old of a game. Like 2016 is like the release, so it's only like 4 years old.
I think they had an older version. I think that the current version is a reboot. But I'm actually not 100% on that because I never played.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, I have a ton of Necromunda models because I converted up a Gene Stealer cult army out of them. But like I myself haven't actually indulged.
Well, there's some homies at the shop that are getting excited about it. There's a lot of terrain that's gray plastic right now, but it looks like there's going to be a little bit of community building and painting going on. So my buddy, actually, how this even became a conversation is that my buddy's like, George, when are you going to play Necromunda? And I was like, when are you going to play Infinity, dog? and he's like, you play Necromunda, I'll play Infinity. And I was like, what?
Ooh.
And so I was like, don't get me started, dog. I was like, if I play a game, I'm going to read every rule. I'm going to get my shit painted. And, like, I'm going to be playing for real, man. I'm going to be all obsessed with it and shit. He's like, yeah, me too, man. I was like, okay. So here we are. I'm calling it. It's immortalized in this video. My friend Dalton is going to fucking play some Infinity because I'm going to play some Necromunda.
That's awesome. I big approve on that.
The gang that is not being used amongst our group right now is the scientist dudes. Well, there was like 3 different ones, but I chose the scientist dudes out of it. They have.
Are they like the sci-fi looking ones?
Yeah. They kind of an Infinity.
What is it? Van Sar?
Yeah, you got it. It's them.
Yeah. They're cool.
They look cool. Apparently, they're pretty busted with how much plasma they can take. I was like, cool, whatever. Paul says in the chat there was a version back around the 2000s. So yeah, I guess like 2016 is like a 16-year later reboot, I guess. But yeah, it's hard not to. I keep thinking of the 2000s as like not 20 years.
I mean, trust me, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, so exciting, down the line. Speaking of other games other than 40K, it's been nice to take a break from the competitive scene with the pods, even though those are escalating to a finals and doing the Crusade. And I've been playing some Infinity, and that's been great. Getting ready for N4. That's going to be dropping on September 30th.
You're playing some 3.5.
Yeah. Just today, Thursdays, Infinity Day, we played they're just like when we saw the 9th edition leaks as they were giving us what we could find, and we played 8th edition points with 9th edition leaks. That's basically what we've been doing in Infinity, playing the new edition's rules with the old edition profiles. And it's been a great time. It's easy because the new edition rules are all just about making the game more fun to play, less feel-badsies. And it's been cool. We've had some great, it's always a great time playing that game. But before I go on a tangent on that, I was just going to say that we're also going to be playing some Age of Sigmar, which hasn't been on the channel in a hot sec. And, there's definitely people out there that really enjoy the game, including myself. It's been a while. I didn't have
a Kane.
Yeah.
Hedonites those Slanesh, man.
Yeah.
Pretty models.
Yeah, I just got myself the 2020 General's Handbook, basically the chapter approved, and to double check. But there's if it's anything to show what 40K is going to do, because apparently we're getting new missions and stuff coming. In the 2020 General's Handbook, they basically have the last, from what I'm interpreting, kind of like 2018, 19, and 2020, they give you 3 sets of 6 missions. So you have literally 18 missions on 3 different charts, and you roll, I guess, like a D3 to pick your chart, and then you roll a D6, and that's like what mission you land on. And the missions are wild. That's a big part of the flavor of Sigmar has always been the missions. And even though that's kind of became like how 9th edition feels, where like playing 9th edition is also playing the 9th edition missions, is like a big part of the feel of the game, like particularly scoring at the start of your next turn. That's a huge element of like what the feel of 9th edition is like,
Yeah.
Well, it's the same, Sigmar has very unique missions that sometimes it's like they'll put 2 objectives out, 1 in each deployment zone, and they say, okay, the first person that holds both those objectives, they just win.
That's awesome.
So it's just like, can you do it? If you did it, you did it, and you win. And that gets pretty crazy. Sometimes they're like, the only thing that can score, and you'll just roll this randomly. They're like, only thing that scores heroes. So good luck. Now
hope you have enough heroes.
Yeah, and hope you didn't plan to go rocking into some stuff and killing it, because now you got to stand back and hold some shit. or sometimes only troops score, like they call it battle line in that game. And sometimes the cool thing in Sigmar is every army has a transferable way of like, if you take this hero as your general, then it opens up this Cimarron model as your battle line. So like you can take a Lord on a Juggernaut and it makes the Blood Crushers fucking battle line.
There used to be a lot more of that in 40K.
I know.
That's kind of been phased out a lot.
Yeah, like they still got like Berserkers can be troops if you're World Eaters. It's a good mechanic. It's a fun mechanic. It adds flavor.
Yeah. Well, and it definitely, for at least a lot of armies, added a lot of flavor. I know, for example, for Dark Angels at one point, you could take if your army was all Ravenwing, you could use the Bikers as troops, ? It was the Deathwing Terminators, perhaps, for Deathwing.
Yeah, they definitely had that, yeah.
But yeah, there was a ton of stuff like that at different points in the game.
Yep.
They've definitely moved away from that with current attachments.
Yep, I enjoyed that element. And I always dreamed that they would make it so Fenrisian Wolves would be troops. Like, take Canis Wolfborn, Fenrisian Wolves are troops. Just because I love them, but they really are not good profiles. They're in Crusade, it's been funny because it's like people were kind of complaining about how beat sticky my army was. And it felt like taking the Fenrisian Wolves was just like a smoke screen to be like, look, it's easy to kill me. Muswa hammer time! Because they'd be just like blowing the Fenrisians off the table, and they're like, oh, great, this is going to be a piece of cake. And then they get tabled by 4 fucking characters with thunder hammers and storm shields.
Roar.
It happened a couple times. I'm not trying to brag. It really happened. It was funny. For me. Laughing inside. Tears. I drank coffee right before the show, so I'm starting to get a little energetic. It might be why. I'm sweating from
finally kicking in.
I'm starting to sweat and stuff. You know what else has happened? We do stuff almost every day. I did a class, an online class on how to stream with the Warped Tour gaming tools last night for.
Do we know how to do that?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, we know how to stream.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I showed people how to do it, and it was pretty cool. It was an hour-long free class. by this nonprofit I'm with called Party Liberation Foundation. It was pretty exciting, pretty fun. I thought it was cool. We showed the green screen dice tray and green screen trickery, so you guys can check that out.
I've watched a lot of streams lately for bat reports and stuff like that, and I'm shocked. Like, you would expect the green screen dicing to be more prolific, but like, it's so often that I'm just hearing people like read off their results in the middle of games, and like it throws me off because I'm like, but I can't see anything. Mm-hmm. Where are the rolls? What are the dice?
It sucks. It's really just about when they roll and they're like, oh, but you don't get to experience it at the same time.
There's a disconnect.
Yeah. But if you get to like see the 6 or like the way the dice spin, like that dramatic moment where you're waiting for it to flip and it's like 1, you're like, oh, you just feel it so much more.
Yeah. Oh. You got Paul asking if there's going to be more of these streaming classes.
Well, I like the question, Paul. I could probably be fancy enough to share the link right now. So I'm going to share the link to that. I'm going to share 2 links because I have a full-blown class on how we use Streamlabs OBS, and that's what we use like every time. And then also this like in general class, but then also in our Patreon, we have the entire 5-lesson course I put together right as COVID hit. And I spent 60 hours locked away making a 5-class course on audio, video, editing, and streaming, and then essential accessories. And that's all behind our Patreon paywall. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about Party Liberation Foundation. I was pretty proud, though, of this class I did last night, and I would love to share it with you. And here it is right here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to do something. But it was great. It was great. And I'm just talking about it now because I'm starting to run out of 40K concepts to consider.
Dude, 3 defilers is the truth.
Yeah, it's really good. You've been playing with that, James?
Yeah, I only played the 1 game, but I played against Blood Angels, and they conceded at the end of turn 2.
Oh, gross.
Well, they got to go first, but the thing is when you fail a charge from my back line because you do some thing that puts you over my deployment zone, and then I get to come in with my bloodletters and just eat that unit. And it was just awesome. They just tactically, when you spend all your CP and you can't interrupt, and your combat army puts you in a bad spot. And,
bad time.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was nice. And the opponent definitely saw the changes they could have made that would have carried it out, but just the fact that I had the 3 defilers was enough shooting from combat versus combat to put me over, no matter what.
That's cool. It's nice to see the defilers, I feel like, coming back to the table because I haven't seen those in forever.
Well, yeah, the truth. Good. D6 damage, man.
They're real good. Turns out, yeah, it's just that 4 up to hits they're only negative, which there's ways around that, discos or.
Yeah, I had disco there.
Prescience.
And I had Karn giving reroll everything.
Yeah, that'll take care of it.
Don't say prescience. Psychers are for bitches.
Yep. That is true. We got a good shirt. We got to get that web store back up and going. We're working on it, guys.
Yep. Working on it.
Definitely. Yeah, Defilers, they're a thing. I guess, a lot is in limbo from there as far as new missions down the line, new profiles that are going to affect Chaos and Space Marines. It's going to change the game dramatically when we get our different damage profiles on our heavy bolters and shit.
Did anyone else think it was funny when GW said how to kill Marines and multiple answers on how to kill Marines as Marines?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was hilarious. Because they're like, oh, the heavy bolter now has 2 wounds. And it's like, oh, you can use this to kill Marines.
Sounds like they're encouraging civil war.
I like
Marine.
Hey, it is 2020, bro.
I know, right? But freaking yeah, no. Even that with even the scoring objective article they put out, so much of it was like, run what is already good that people are complaining about. It was just like, oh, okay, GW, okay.
They're like, keep buying what we made good, so that we can then dump it on you, and then you have to buy something else.
Yay!
Oh man, yeah. I cry to myself often when playing Marines, salamanders particularly. I have a tough time with them. Every time I play them, I'm like, son of a bitch. They just slap back so hard, dude. It's been
Dude, not only that, but to negate neg 1 AP is nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and also what's funny is just how a lot of times a lot of the rules that they have are like eating up the rules of everybody else. We've talked about this, but like that reminds me, it makes me think of Rubric Marines. That's the all is dust rule. Like back up, that's like their rule. It's the cool thing about Rubric Marines. Back, why are you getting that? That's not right. And I got something that grinds my gears, dude. I'm trying to play power level in Crusade, and I am so annoyed that fucking.
Hey, what'd I say? Power levels for nerds.
Yeah, well, check this out.
Gears.
Fucking Primaris Intercessors, they only are 5 power level, but Blood Claws with 1 wound are 6 power level. And it makes me so mad.
That's so funny.
They're just better in every way, but they cost less. And literally is that, like, I'm only 1 point away in my list from being able to like take an additional 5 Fenrisian Wolves. I have 30 Fenrisian Wolves. I wanted to bring 30 with my 4 characters, but no, because 5 power level versus 6.
Wait, so you're not going to run Primaris Marines so you can get this Fenrisian?
No, I didn't do it, dude. Like literally, all they want me to do is they're like, okay, like it's the
go. Like George, come to the dark side.
It's the better choice, and we're screwing you. It's time, and I'm like, no, you bastards.
Yeah, dude. They're like 5 more Marines.
Ugh. Tyler says that's because of the upcoming 2 wounds. I agree, Tyler, but goddamn if it wasn't annoying. Stupid Primaris. And even then, when we do get 2 wounds on the Blood Claws, are they still going to be a little less than Primaris Intercessors? I guess so. I mean, they get the -1 AP by default. But it is crazy that they're going to be the same wound profile. And a lot matters on points. Like the points... What does that 1 power level in points equal out to? Who knows? Yeah.
Chicken Bone tossing us 5 bones.
Man, Chicken Bones, you the Chicken Bone, you the man. GW's high, Psychers forever.
Chicken Bone is the man.
I gotta live vicariously through you guys. Keep doing great work, y'all. Thank you, Chicken Bone. I always appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Good to see you too. It's been a while. Oh man, that always feels good. Episode 117. It's like, yeah. We still got it. Thanks, Chicken Bone. We entertain people. Are you not entertained? I hear jazz in the background. They better be jamming in the background. My friends better be jamming out there. I'm going to watch back, and I'm going to make sure I can hear this sexy piano music, because I've been enjoying it all episode. Oh, goodness. So we're almost at an hour. There's like 9 minutes left. Is there anything else that you guys have been thinking about that I didn't think about and say, or what are we thinking about?
Yeah, man. I'm currently, I know you and James are more of the chaos school at the moment, but I've been doing some noise marine machinations in my head, just you're speaking on the piano tunes and whatnot. And the current list that I want to run is something that I think has a little bit of popularity already, but I don't expect to be the best, but I want to run the 9 Obliterators and Fabius Bile and just kind of like try my hand at buffing them and running them downstream. And, got a patrol detachment with Celesk and an Exalted, Keeper of Secrets.
Dude, you're not fun. That's fun. That is fun.
And
fun
also, then in the battalion that is Emperor's Children, just a demon prince with double malefic talons. He's just, there to be there and fill out the detachment. Yeah. So, 3 big punchy kind of demonies, 9 Obliterators, and Fabius Bile running upfield.
The 9 Obliterators is super over the top, but respect. There sure is yeah, I mean, like Austin's tabling people with a set of 3. But
I like the idea with Fabius. I know there's a chance he literally kills Obliterators. If on the buff table, like he rolls a 1 and he just straight up kills a model, which is terrible. But them getting +1 attack actually makes them way scarier in close combat than they already are, because that brings them up to 4 attacks. And +1 toughness makes them very, very hardy, because then they're toughness 6.
Yeah.
Versus even like strength 5 weapons.
Yeah.
Mike being saying he tasted the night.
I saw that.
Yeah.
The main thing, I'm honestly, out of what you just described, even though the Blitz are awesome in themselves, but my favorite thing in that list that you're gonna have the most fun with, I think, was the Keeper's Secrets 1, but 2, the Celeste. Celeste is so fun. God, because eight D3 attacks, and on top of the 8 attacks it has that do 3 damage flat. And the 8 D3 attacks, those are single damage, but there's still like a good minus on them. And it's just nasty. A blender, man. Blender. Plus Hysterical Frenzy on top of that. So what's your go-to exalted trait on your Keeper of Secrets?
I mean, I think the -1 to be wounded is definitely a favorite.
Yeah, it does. It's really sinister.
Especially since you can be targeted.
Yeah. It hurts.
And like that's kind of a consideration too with the new character targeting rules. Since all of the weapons on the Obliterators are assault versus heavy, they're not afraid to really just march forward and like screen characters because they're all 3-man squads. So it's like, oh, like who cares? Like I can hide Celeste, I can hide the walking regular Demon Prince, I can hide Fabius Bile just by standing next to the Obliterators and move one giant blender block forwards.
Yeah.
Additionally, there's also I think 16 Chaos Cultists, 10 Demonettes, and 2 minimum squads of Noise Marines. So, I mean, I can just leave those on backfield objectives, I guess.
Yeah. Were you taking it contorted or no?
I didn't have the points for it, unfortunately. I would love to have taken it.
Yeah, 9 Obliterators, not surprised. But that's because there's kind of like a block in there, a block of pain that my favorite. I have in the list that's in Pod 7 that might make me into the finals with my demons is Keeper of Secrets with the -1 to wound exalted trait, Celeste, and then a contorted epitome. And then it's a undivided battalion with 3 Nurgling in it. But I just love those 3 characters. So I take those 3 characters being a big pain in the ass. And literally that's like that and a Demon Prince with a Skull Reaver axe is all I have on the table. It's just 3 units.
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
On the exalted demon, what's it called, Keepers, what is the usual go-to for players in terms of the viable, like the variable weapon? Because I know you can do like the Sinister Hand.
Oh, dude, my new favorite's the Whip. I use the Whip I use Shining Aegis in my competitive list because I want the 6-up Feel No Pain, 5-up versus Mortals. You can already do Delightful Agonies, but I just take I just take the Shining Aegis. But I've started to love in Crusade the Living Whip. It's only a 6-inch range. So it's not as you'll probably still get to use it in the regular game, and I think you can fire it while you're still within 1 inch of an enemy. But it's 6 shots, assault 6. That is frickin' -2/2 damage. So here's just 6 shots that are -2/2 damage. It's nasty. That's potentially 12 damage. And it's his base strength. So I found that to be really strong. If you pair that with the Hysteric, if you have him buddy with the Celeste, then you're giving him reroll 1s to hit and +1 strength. Because Celeste gives you both the Herald ability and the Demon Prince reroll. That's one of the reasons why Celeste is kick ass. So yeah, and you really don't need to make the Keeper like ultra fast because you can make that lady like advance and charge with a +3 Warlord trait and another like +3 move or +2 move with the exalted trait, whatever it is. You can get that thing moving like 20 inches, but if somebody can screen that out, no problem. You don't have fly. So the survivability with the -1 to wound, it is awesome. It's awesome when they're 3s to wound usually with the las cannon, and now they're 4s, and they miss so many shots that way.
Yeah.
It feels great, and you just pop Warp Surge to get +1 invuln and be a 4-up invuln, because that's usually what's going down. Is I'm like, all right, plus. But the list I'm bringing that I was just telling you about, I hit the table with 0 CP, dude. 0. I spent all 12 of it before the game. That's what's so weird about playing demons and like the chaos like we used to know right now is that if you want like to really go all in on like deep strikes with banners of blood and exalted traits on all these different guys, you'll hit the table with like nothing. So I've been winning. I'm going to round 3, hitting the table with 0 CP, and I put 1,000 points practically in reserve with two units of 8 Blood Crushers, Corn's number. All trying to bank on the strat where I do mortal wounds on the charge, and if I kill the target, I get to charge again. And then I have
do you tier those out, or do you just do all of them at the same time?
I usually do. It just depends. It just depends on the situation because they have the Keeper of Secrets, Celeste, and the Demon Prince with the Skull Reaver axe and the Contorted Epitome all running at them, hiding behind terrain that's player placed. So they're like, okay, I got these fucking 4 powerhouse characters running at me, but if I don't like counter deploy correctly or counter maneuver correctly, I'm gonna have 1,000 points doing 3d6 charges on me from all 3 sides. And like I played Tau and just annihilated Tau by charging from all 3. I charged from behind and in 2 different areas from the front. And the 3d6 charges with the +1, the fact that you reroll all 3 dice on a charge now is nasty. You're like, cool, I rolled 114. Flip, I'll reroll all these bitches. 16. You know, like it feels great. So far, I've been bringing them all in at the same time because I've been going against a pretty elite list. I'm going to be going against Orcs next. And I usually, so that I can pop the Blood Crusher stratagem, I want to only bring in 1 at a time. 1 on turn 2, 1 on turn 3, so that I can give each one the strat to do mortals on the impact. But I'm going to be going against a lot more Horde going against the Orcs, so I'm going to have to really try to get rid of that screen before I'll probably like drop the Bloodletters down on turn 2 to remove as much screenage as possible, and then I'll hit hard with the Blood Crushers into turn 3. But it has it's mad board control. I mean, you're basically just trying to survive the shooting on turn 1 through hiding behind obscurity, and then just bring everything down turn 2 and hit them with a kind of a pincher attack with the deep strikes and the characters. It's been working. It's been working, and it's fun, and it's, you know, you don't need to really spend any CP because you've already done everything you need to spend it on. You know, just drop a little Nurgling infiltrate. You know, I'm just going to do a reroll, honestly, or save up for a warp surge.
Yeah.
It's been effective, though, and I look forward to trying again. It was honestly not what I out of these pods, I've done like 12, maybe 11, yeah, probably like 10 to 11 Space Wolf lists, and I only did a couple Chaos lists. So it surprised me after trying so hard with what I thought was the more competitive list to see the demons do so well. So it might be what actually makes it into the finals for me. So looking forward to trying to see how that goes there.
For sure.
Yeah. I think Mike. I see Mike out there. I'm wondering if Mike was talking about being the Gene Stealer cult player for us in the Crusade, Chris. And
man,
he wants to do an unkillable abominate, basically, which I think is awesome.
Living vicariously through me, or vice versa. I'm going to be living vicariously through him.
Yeah,
I think that's super cool. The
that
abominate
would be so fun. Yeah, he'd be great in that.
He's not going to die.
Yeah, small ass. He's usually slow, but foot slogging even on that board, he's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're gonna get there. I think it'll be awesome. And hell, there's a lot of shenanigans. You could really go all in on like think of how, because is the sniper that rides the bike, is he a named character? He's not, right?
He is not a named character, but
you can only take one.
You still can only 1 per detachment, because that's like just the whole thing with Gene Stealer Cult. Like there's no character you can spam like that. Is he
an HQ or an elite or something?
He is an HQ.
Okay. Is there is there any of those characters that are, because like I'm mainly just imagining how fun it would be to getting to buff those guys up, because characters get the coolest shit inside of Crusade, you know, because you get multiple warlord traits, multiple.
The Locust is the cheapest character the Gene Stealer Cult has, and he could actually combo decently well with the 3-up Invuln Abominant, because his Invuln also gets improved for being that specific cult creed. And he can also, if you wanted to, tank singular wounds for the Abominant. Like, if you really got to the crappy point of like, oh no, my Abominant's about to die, like, pass 1 wound, and the Abominant heals D3 wounds at the start of every turn. So, like, it's
yeah, and you'd have the Gene Stealer Vet. Dude, it's been hilarious, because, like, my demon list, at the greater demons, it's, like, power level 30, it's Crusade level, like, 35. If you meet, like, when I play somebody, when people, I'm like, player's choice, pick one of my 3 armies. This army's Crusade level 35. They're like, I want that one because I have, like, next to no CP. You can literally get, when you play that, if you're at, like, 5 power level, I'm at 35, you get, like, 15 CP to start the game. I give you 15 command points to balance it out. So that can start to get hilarious, you know, in some situations.
Yeah, definitely.
I like it. I want to see that happen. If I had it, I would do it. Let's see what Mike says. You can pretty much take the Locust, the Sanctus, the Abominant, the Crazy Doctor guy, a Kellermorph, and a Banner guy. That's a shit ton of characters, Mike. You got to do that, bro.
So many. Yeah, that's awesome.
Super cool. I've bought into the Crusade 3 times now. Yeah, since most of those are elites, is what he said. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that would be hilarious. The Keller morph on that just would be. He is a crusade kind of guy. He's a gunslinger, and I'd love to see him just like show down on people.
Yeah, and that the cult creed that gets you the 3-up invul and abominant. The reason it works is because it gives everybody +1 to their invul saves. So the Keller morph goes from having a 5-up invul into a 4-up.
Yeah,
definitely some goodness there.
And you know what's funny is like how we're kind of poo-pooing on Tyrannus Gene Stealer Cult in big game. They actually like this sounds kick-ass, and it would probably do great in Crusade. Just like
I think it'd be fun.
You know, just like the demons aren't necessarily like OP in 9th edition, but you put them in Crusade with all these stacking abilities on greater demons, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, OP! that small board changes the game, and it's been a lot of fun to do
Definitely.
that. I recommend it to other people to give it a try. What's also fun is we've been using these like 12-inch boards to like cut off one edge. You know how you got to change the board size. So you just put a 12-inch board on the short edge there, and all of a sudden you're the right size, besides the 2 inches off each side long-wise. Well, if you take that same board and you just put it in the middle of the 6x4, now you have 2 equal Crusade boards. It's pretty great. Just basically a 6x4 turns into 2 Crusade boards at a 50 power level or below, and you put a board right in the middle that's 12 inches, voila, you have it. And it's been pretty cool to do that. It's been cool. Rand and Raven. Guys, I'm high on caffeine, and I hope you're high too. And we really appreciate you, Chris and James and I. It's been awesome to see everybody tune in. Chicken Bone, big love. Good to see you, Mike, as always. I'll be playing you soon, my friend. Tyler, thanks for tuning in. Who else is out there? Paul, good to see you, Paul. Paul's living in San Francisco. Cap and Andrew. I'm playing Cap and Andrew tomorrow. We got some Age of Sigmar tomorrow. Pure corn.
Nice.
Pure corn, baby. The blood tithes are back. I'm fighting a Skaven army that's been painted up during the quarantine times. Chris has some badass Blackstone Fortress models. Going to continue to be painting those up, making them look
Damn
good.
right.
Necromunda's coming out down the road. I'm doing that thing again where I talk to the rhythm of the smooth jazz going on right now. Anyways, you guys are all cool. Keep taking fun seriously, and we'll see you very soon, like tomorrow even. Peace.
Yo.
We out of there.
Cool, dude.
Oh, yeah.